If you are data scientist or analyst, you know how data is really important. So in this video, I'm going to show you how can you convert and export your HTML tables data into CSV and Excel file so that you can provide these files to your data scientist analysis and do their job. Without further ado, let's start. Hello and namaste everyone, this is Jitsaru with Coding Design. Welcome to our channel. If you are new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's change the title. For the title I am giving Convert or Export HTML table to CSV and Excel file. Now with the help of live server extension, let's open this index.html file in our default browser. So you can see this is the result. I have already created a separate video on how can I create this beautiful HTML table, and also I have given different feature for our HTML table, something like we're getting that search functionality with beautiful animation. You can sort the table. And also I have already created two separate video on how to convert and export your HTML table to JSON and PDF. So if you haven't watched those two videos, you can check it out. All those videos playlist and link, they all will be given in the description below or at top right in your I button. You can find it out. Okay, so now we have to create two more options for our CSV and Excel file. So in the index.html file, as you can see, we have already created two options for PDF and JSON file. Now let's duplicate the same code for more two times, and let's change ID and text. I'm giving to CSV, and so let's change that image. Let's give csv.png file, and so now let's give another option for our Excel file. So again, I'm changing ID and source of image. Okay, so as you can see in the same folder, I do have folder name images, and inside that folder there are different images. And also you can see I have already linked the CSS and JavaScript file and style.css file, and in JavaScript file there are a few lines of code. Now let's copy the same comment and paste it down there. Let's change that number to 5, and let's change that JSON to Excel file. Okay, now we have to select that label with ID to Excel. So in script.js file, I'm creating constant variable Excel button, and I'm assigning document.querySelector. So we are selecting the label with ID to Excel, and also I'm giving event handler for that Excel button. For that I'm writing Excel button.onClick. So when you click that Excel button, or you can call it Excel option, at the time we'll call function name to Excel, and inside that function we'll pass the parameter. As you can see, we have already selected ID customer table. So in the index.html file, you can see we have already given the main with ID customer table, and inside that main element we do have table. So now we'll pass the same variable customer table, but as you can see I haven't created that function called to Excel. So now let's create that function to Excel, and within that function let's take that customer table as table. Inside that function let's create constant variable trows, and I'm assigning table.querySelector all. So be careful, I'm giving their querySelector all. It's because I want to select all the table rows of our table. Okay, these all table rows that you can find it within our table. Now I'm writing console.log. Let's give that trows variable. Now in our browser, if I click that Excel option in our console, it looks like we are getting all our table rows within array, but that is not an array, that is the node list. So now we can convert our node list into array. Now you can wrap it inside the square bracket, and let's use rest operator, that is if you use 3 dots. Once again in the console, did you see that? Now we have changed our node list into array. So if you ask me why do you need that unnecessary step, so in our JavaScript we can use different methods that they do provide for our array. Now instead of that console.log, I'm writing .map. With the help of this map function, I'm iterating all the table rows. So for each table row, I'm representing it as row. Now within that callback, I'm creating constant variable sales, and I'm assigning row.querySelector all. I'm giving th, td. As you can see in the index.html file, within our table row there are different table headings and also table data. So with the help of that code, I'm trying to select all the table heading and the table data separately. Okay, now we need to iterate all these table heading and table data. So for that, I'm again using the previous technique that we have used just a moment ago. Now you can copy the same code and paste it down there. Now instead of that T rows, let's give sales, and once again let's use map function, and for each table data and heading I'm representing it as sale, and within that callback I'm writing console.log sale.text content. So I'm trying to get all the inner text of that table heading as well as the table data. Now in the browser you can see in your console we are getting all table headings as well as table data, but you can see there is huge amount of white space. So in order to get rid of that white space, I can write something like .trim. Now with the help of this trim method, you will be able to remove all the extra white space if there exists in the beginning and at the end of your text. So once again in the console you can see now we have removed all the extra white space. Let's remove that console. I'm writing this code in the single line. So if you are using arrow function, you don't need to write their return keyword. But if you were using normal function as callback, or if you have used the curly bracket, then you have to write their return keyword. And with the help of that map function, it will return array with modified value. So now just next to that map function, I can write their dot join, and now within that join method, I'm passing a string /t, or you can pass 4 space. Now with the help of that join method, we're trying to join all the value of array by 4 space. It will be something like this. So just down below, let me show you. Now with the help of that join method, we'll be able to join all the arrays data with 4 spaces, something like this. Again, you can use their dot join. That's because when we were iterating all the table rows, we have used their dot map function. Again, it will return the array with new modified value. So again, within that join, I can pass the string /, and that will break the line. As you can see, I have already shown you just down below there. For all table headings, we are separating with 4 space, and when new table row it starts, I want to start with new line. So for that, I have given their join, and I'm passing a string /, and that represents new line, or it will break the line. Now you can remove that code. That was just for demo. Now we need to return all this code. So for that I'm giving return for that table row as well as the table sales. Okay. And now when you click that Excel button, at the time, as you can see, we have called there to Excel function. So when you call that Excel function, we are returning some value, that is the tables heading as well as the tables data value. So now when you click that Excel button, at the time I want to show you the result in the console. So let's wrap this code inside the console.log, and in the browser you can see in your console, did you see that we are getting all the table heading and all the table data and the headings, they are starting in new line, and between all those values you can see they are separated by 4 space. So this is exactly what we want. Now we do have 2 operations. One is getting rid of that up arrow icon, and second one is we have to store separate data for our customer image. So if your HTML table it was normal table, I mean simple table, with the help of these 4 lines of code, we could convert our HTML tables data into Excel. But as you can see, our HTML data, it is a bit complex. So what you can do is that let's select this same code and duplicate it. I want to comment out this code, and let's give the comment code for simple table. Now what I want to do is that I want to store separate value for the customer image. So for that, instead of query selector all table row, let's give their extra table body. So now we are selecting only the table rows that is within our table body. If you have noticed there, we do have table row within our table head as well. We are not selecting that table rows of table heading. We are only selecting the table rows of our table body. So for that I'm giving there tbody space tr. So now let's change that variable's name to tbody rows, and also now you have to change that variable's names as well. Okay, now we'll select the table headings. So for that let's duplicate the same code. Now let's change that variable name to theads. Let's remove that tbody and tr. Instead you can give th. Within our sales variable, instead of selecting both table heading and table data, we are selecting only the table data. And next to that, I am again creating another variable img, that means image, and I am assigning row.querySelector. So we are selecting image. I want to get the source of that image. So for that I can write .src. Let me show you in the console. So I am writing console.log img. Once again in the browser, if you look at the console, you can see we are getting all the source of customer image. And if you have noticed there, we need to convert it into normal form. So as you can see, last time I have shown you like how can you convert into normal form. So now you can copy the same function, that is decode URI component. Let's wrap this code inside that decode URI component. And once again in the browser, in your console, you can see now we are getting that normal text. Okay, let's remove that console. Now instead of that return keyword, let's create constant variable data accept image, and I'm assigning the same code. I think for that variable name it's better to give data without image, and just down below let's return the data without image. And with that, I'm concatenating or joining extra data, that is img. As you can see in our img variable, we have stored separate data for our customer image source. And once again, let's see it in the console. Now let's comment out this code, and I want to show you this result in our console. Before that, now instead of that tab, you can give for space. And also when you are joining that data without image and the customer image, at that time I want to give for space. Once again in the browser, in your console, did you see that for each and every table data I have added new extra value, that is the customer image source, and all those values, they are separated with for space. So it's time to create separate data for our table heading. This is a bit complex technique, but I have used a much more simpler technique in that last week's video. You don't need to watch whole video. In the description below, I'll give you a timestamp. With the help of that, you will be able to watch that specific part of video. So if you want simple technique, then you can watch that video. Otherwise, you can use this complex technique. So let me explain you. As you can see, with the help of that for of loop, we are iterating all table headings. And within that for loop, inside actual head variable, I'm assigning thead.text content. So with the help of that code, I'm getting the text of that table heading. Next to that, I'm writing .trim. With the help of that trim method, I'm removing all the white space if that exists in the beginning and at the end of your table headings text. And next to that, I'm giving split method. Within that, I'm passing a string with one space. So with the help of that split method, all the table headings value, they will be stored inside the array based on that white space. And for that array, we can use splice method. For the first parameter, it will take the starting position, and second parameter, it will take the ending position. So for the second parameter, I'm giving the actual head.length. So with the help of that method, we are getting the total number of values that is within our array, and I'm subtracting by -1. So with the help of that -1, I'm removing the last element or the last value that is within our actual head array. So next to that, again I can write .join. Within that join method, I'm passing a string with space. So now I'm joining all the values of array with space. Now all those value will be converted into text or a string, and now all those texts I'm converting into lowercase. So for that, I'm giving their dot to lowercase method. So in this way, we were able to get rid of that up arrow icon and transform all the table headings text into lowercase. As I have already told you, this is a bit complex technique. It could be more simpler. So once again, if you want to use simpler technique, the video's link will be given in the description below. You can check out. Okay, now select these 2 lines of code and let's copy, and within that to Excel function, I'm writing theads.map. And once again, we are iterating all the table heads with the help of that map function, and I'm representing each table head as head. Within that callback, let's paste the code that we have copied. Now instead of that t heading, let's give head. Okay, and instead of that t head, let's give actual head. Now we need to return that value, so I'm using return keyword, and in order to use that map method, you need to convert that node list into array. So a little moment ago, I have already explained you all about this. Okay, so I think I need to store this array inside our headings variable. So now finally we can return these headings and our table data variable. So I'm writing return, let's give that headings, and let's join both heading and the table data. And for the headings, as you can see, I have used their map function, so that will return the array with new modified value. So I can use their .join. Within that join method, I'm passing string /t, or you can use their for space. And also when you are returning the headings and the table data, at the time we are joining, but we will join the headings and the table data with new line. Okay, in your browser, in your console, you can see we are getting all the table headings which are separated by for space, and all the table data, they are starting within new line. So this is exactly what you want. Now what you can do is that you can select this code. So once again, if your table, it was like really simple table, then this code was not necessary. You could use this simple code. Okay, and also just down below, when you are clicking the Excel button. At the time we are calling to Excel function that will return the different value. Let's store inside the constant variable Excel, and I'm calling the function download file. Let's pass the value Excel. So as you can see, we are taking that Excel data as text within our download file function. Now for the anchor tag, we are giving their href attribute. So within that href attribute, all these data, they are static. So in order to make dynamic, when you are calling the download Excel function, at that time for the second parameter, let's give the like what kind of file you are exporting to. So for that, I'm giving their string Excel, and when you are calling that download function, within that download function, let's take that second parameter as file type, and also let's modify some codes. When you are downloading JSON file, at that time, now we need to pass second parameter. I'm giving JSON. So now instead of that application/JSON, we can make that meme type dynamic. So just below that, let's create constant variable meme types, and I'm assigning object. Let's give key JSON. For the JSON, I'm giving the value application/JSON. Also now let's create another key CSV. For the CSV, let's give the value of text/CSV, and for the Excel key, so let's give this value. If you want to export your Excel file as XLS extension, you need to give this value. Okay, so I'll give this value in the description below, you can check it out. Now let's wrap that application/JSON within the curly bracket, and if I give $, as you can see, we have used their backtick. So we are using the template literals. So now within that curly bracket, you can pass meme types object. Now within that square bracket, you can pass file type, the argument that you have received from the download file function. As you can see, when you are calling that download file function, we have passed our file type as second parameter. So now with the help of that file type argument, we can access our meme types objects keys value. So now with the help of this code, it is finally dynamic. And also, as you know, when you are calling that download file function, at the time we are passing the data that you want to download as first parameter. So instead of that text, I think it is better to give data. Okay, that makes more sense. So instead of that text, let's change it to data.
A few minutes later,
and I have exported the file, but there was some problem. But when I gave /t instead of that forward space, everything was working fine. So it's better to give /t instead of that forward space. And also, if you have noticed there, we have added the new table data, but for the table heading, I have forgot to give new table heading for that customer image. So now you can copy this code and paste it there. Instead of that image variable, let's give the string image name. Now for the last time, let's click that action option. If I save, did you see that? We have finally convert and export our HTML tables data to Excel file. So let me show you whether that file that is working or not. Okay, let's open it. Did you see that? So we did successfully export our HTML tables data to Excel. Now it's time to convert and export our HTML tables data to CSV. So for that, let's select this whole code and duplicate it. Now instead of that Excel file, let's give CSV file as comment. And we are selecting the label with ID to CSV. And also, if you have the simple HTML table, you can use this code. So now when you are joining all the table data with tab, instead of that tab, now we will give comma. So with the help of this code, now you will be able to convert your HTML data into CSV. But as you know, our HTML table, that is a bit complex. So let's comment out this code. Let's go down there. Now, wherever you are giving tab, let's change all those tabs to comma. But as you know, when you're exporting your HTML tables data to CSV, all the table data, they will be separated by comma. But if you have noticed there in our HTML table, for the order date, you can see all those date they are separated with comma. That is a great problem. Now for that, you can do something like when you are getting that text of each and every cells, next to that text content, you can write something like dot replace, and I am using regular expression. For that, you could use double forward slash, and within that forward slash, I am giving comma with that G. That G represents global. That means wherever you will get that comma within your table data, that will replace with. For the second parameter, let's give the value that you want to replace. So I want to replace with full stop, or you can give like empty string. and also I have to change that function name, okay, something like to CSV instead of that to Excel. And for the file type, once again let's give CSV as second parameter. Okay, now instead of that Excel button, once again we need to change back to CSV button. And when we were getting that CSV button, at that time I think I haven't changed that variable name. I haven't changed, so let's change that variable name to CSV button. So finally you can see when you click that CSV button, at that time we are converting all tables data into CSV, and as soon as you convert your tables data into CSV, we need to export it. So with the help of that download file function, we are trying to export all the tables data to CSV. So as soon as you click that CSV option, new pop-up window will occur and you can give any specific file name. So now if I hit the save button, you can see we have exported our HTML tables data to CSV file. So what if I open it? So let's open the CSV file. So did you see that? For the order date, we have given there full stop. So it's all done because of that replace method. So now finally we did export our HTML tables data to CSV. So you can see I have given there different options that you can convert your HTML tables data to PDF, JSON, CSV, Excel. So if you haven't watched that PDF and JSON video, you can watch, okay. All the videos, link and playlist, they will be given in the description below or at top right corner in your I button, you can check out. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did learn something, smash that like button. If you have any kind of queries, let me know in the comment box. Share this video if you think someone needs it, and also if you haven't already hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell icon. Remember, there is always more to learn, so keep learning.